Teaching time with Pastor Jordan. Here we go.
Yeah, that set it up way too much.
Yeah.
So apparently,
That was really loud.
I believe.
Get that?
I believe
you almost lost that.
Hey, I'm going to clap real quick.
Oh, wait, hold on.
That was
Good one,
that was a
too.
good clap.
That was a
It is
Pentecostal
all
clap there.
synced up.
Pentecostal
Sync
clap.
Pentecostal sing clap.
the good old days.
We
The
are living.
good old days.
good old
It
days
might be the
suck.
good old days, honestly.
I think
compared to the
90s
future.
I think the 80s. I think the 80s possibly were the good old days.
Yeah, probably mid 90s.
Maybe 90s.
Mid 90s.
Mid 90s.
Think about Whitney Houston. That video. That was the peak.
That was it. I think we were way more prophetic than we
Unified.
thought
Yeah.
with that. Well, in retrospect, what's a prophet that's actually really good at telling the past?
A historian.
That's good. That's good.
A student of history.
Dude, that's
That is quality.
that's quality.
What's a prophet? What's a prophet of the past? That's a historian, my man.
Someone write that one down.
Yeah, I got a little tear earlier.
Yeah,
that one,
dude,
man.
That's funny.
I have one working his way out.
I
I'm
saw
trying
your
to
eyes,
decide.
Anthony.
So we have frustrated some minions.
Really?
Yeah. I guess our Little Debbie's reviews. Some people are really happy with what we reviewed, and some people were highly disappointed.
They didn't think we were like educated enough about it or something, or
Well, they thought our palette is old, and it's
Whoa!
Well,
Yep.
let's be honest. If you're a fan of Cosmic Brownies, which camera do I need to look at?
Go get them,
If
Joel.
you like Cosmic Brownies, you should just go eat dirt instead, because that tastes better than the Cosmic Brownie. So if you're mad at that, I don't care.
A dirt covered turd.
Dude, it's
That's
so
what it tasted
bad.
like.
A dirt.
So just to confirm, you've tasted that?
Uh-oh.
I was really young, and I was curious.
It was the best of times.
Yeah.
It was the worst of times.
So they didn't like our palate. They think our
Well,
palate's old.
I like it.
They didn't. The Nutty Buddy ones, a lot of people were like, what in the world? Like,
What?
Like,
no,
against
there
it?
was there was
Against
three
it.
guys
Oh, they
that
don't
were
like
Nutty
it?
Buddy fans.
Yeah, but they were like, that didn't even belong in the category.
Oh,
There were people that said
wow.
that didn't even belong in the category.
I'm sure zebra cakes did though.
Zebra cakes were in there.
I don't know,
Yeah,
I'm just being
people like
sarcastic.
that. I can't
They
remember
were
all of them.
They were just aggravated we missed the honey buns.
Well, I don't know who it was.
Let's think about that, Potter. If you take the zebra cake. Like, no, man, I didn't need any comment on that. It's just a shot. Let's see what Google has to say.
Well, you know what? I don't care what they think.
I like that. You know what? Your voice doesn't matter. But like and subscribe.
And share it with your friends.
Yeah, turn on those notifications.
Emotional damage.
Very good.
Well, I mean, so what do they think's the best?
No, it
Was there
was
like a consensus, or everybody just has
oatmeal cream
different
pie. I
opinions?
think is still the winner, but not by a landslide. You got honey buns, oatmeal cream pies, zebra cakes.
There were
Was that all
two
of it?
guys in there that were Nutty Buddy. Team Nutty Buddy.
Okay.
I don't know why cosmic brownie is all of a sudden a thing. What happened to just the good old brownie with the pecans on it?
Nut allergies.
Shut up.
I don't know. I just figured that was probably
That's right.
Wow.
They
can see
used
it.
to have nuts on them.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
were.
Was
I
that
did-
another brand?
Yes. No. Yeah, it's
I
Little
remem-
Debbie's.
It was Little Debbie?
Look, Google it real quick.
I've always remembered Cosmic
Yeah,
Brownies.
I do.
Oh,
I do
no.
remember those, but I also remember
Just-
Cosmic Brownies.
I thought cosmic brownie,
Brownie
came out like, I don't know, 10, 15
with-
years ago.
Not
I don't
peanut.
think so.
It's always been?
It's been around for a while.
I didn't know it's
damn.
always been.
Snack.
So growing up, I only had brownies with the
pecans, yeah.
pecans on them.
Is the turtle brownie?
No.
No,
No.
that's something different.
Yep.
I know
think
what
they
you're talking
discontinued
about.
them.
Yeah, I haven't seen one in a long,
Yeah.
I mean, years and years and years.
Huh.
But I don't know why. So to me, those tasted better than so I think it
Fudge
was not-
brownies with English walnuts.
that's it.
That's what they were.
Fudge brownies.
Fudge
those were the
brownies.
ones.
Nice.
That's the ones. I remember those.
So
yeah.
that's what I grew up on.
I used to
and
eat those.
Those
Yep.
I liked. And then cosmic brownies. I mean, they're the little whatever they are. Is it chocolate little sprinkles? I don't know what those things are.
Seem like sprinkles.
Yeah, those. Yes, that's different, obviously, than the walnuts, but it's
so
the
gross.
brownie
the
actual.
cake, yeah.
Yes, it's not. It's not like they just took off the walnuts and
Right.
put on.
Yep.
They changed the whole recipe.
Yeah, they
Yep.
did.
I tell you what, I'm still
Dude.
upset about
What's that?
is the brownies at Chick-fil-A. So
When they swapped. Yeah.
Chick-fil-A used to have like back, I don't know what, 10 years ago.
Yep.
They had these brownies, bro.
They were good.
Oh, they were so good. And all of a sudden one day, we're gonna change it up, and they
Yeah.
went to. Well, they did cookies at some point. I don't know what they went to. Anyway, I don't get dessert anymore
Their
at Chick-fil-A.
cookies are very good.
They're good cookies,
They're good
but
cookies.
the brownies.
Yeah,
were,
they changed the
for
recipe of
me.
the
It was
brownie.
just like
Yeah.
Amber's also was a huge fan of the traditional Chick-fil-A brownie,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and is super upset.
I don't know why.
Inflation, man. Inflation. It'll get you.
Blame inflation. Episode 12. A lot of things to talk about. A lot of really important things.
So many things.
Really important things.
So many things.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
dive in.
Let's really
Converse
go.
about the important things.
Yes. I
was
actually,
good.
So I do have something that I learned about this past week.
Dude, educate us.
I will educate you
Dude,
guys.
what'd you learn?
Huh?
Teaching time with
I,
Pastor Jordan. Here we go.
Yeah, that set it up
Like
way
that?
too much.
Yeah.
So apparently,
That was really loud.
I believe.
get that?
I believe. Dude,
you almost lost that.
dude, I
I
pray
almost
that
went all
made
over
it.
Micah.
Dude, that was
I almost just
That
bathed
was
Micah in
That was
latte.
almost really bad.
Oh,
Schmiegel came to visit us. Schmiegel.
God. Oh,
Dude.
my God.
Apparently,
I got something I learned.
Did you drink that coffee?
Dude, it's talking now, man.
But back to the story before
Yeah.
my throat began to talk on its own. So when Chat GPT came out, all right, AI, all this stuff came out. Apparently, Amazon has experienced a boom in people submitting AI created books,
Of course.
Wow.
Makes
What a-
sense.
like thousands. Like it's a problem because they're having to decipher which books are actually made by humans and which ones are AIs. People that are submitting, so like
Wow.
children's books and stuff like that, and then just so it's actually slowed down the process for some people who are trying to actually get their books published. I know a guy who's literally coming out with a book right now, and he's like, "Yeah, we got bogged down because all the AI books caused like this traffic jam in Amazon books." So it's just another fallout of
crazy.
good old AI.
Gotta
you
love
know?
it.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's funny. I'm not gonna say I wrote a book, but I said, "Hey,
But I
write."
did write a book.
I invested in an AI
no,
book creation company.
No, here's what's funny. I said write a short story about my 2-year-old daughter Rayma and her dog Della, and it wrote a phenomenal short story. I was like talking about them taking a walk down the street, finding bugs and insects.
Yep.
I was like, holy smokes.
Yeah.
Now publish this book on Amazon.
No,
Yeah.
I saw that. I was
Yeah.
like, dude, people are just gonna write. They're just
Yeah.
gonna generate content from that.
IBM halted, I think, 3,000 jobs they were hiring for that are going to be AI now.
Yeah.
Like they're not hiring 3,000 people they planned on hiring because
Oh.
AI is going to do what those 3,000 people were going to do.
And you got all the
Very cool.
creators now saying, "Okay, guys, I do want to warn everybody. Stop."
Well, yeah. One of the
Stop.
guys
He quit Google.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he quit Google because it was like this is getting out of
Yeah.
hand.
And he said he couldn't be honest about
Yeah.
Google and also work for Google, the AI. And was it Bard? Bard, I think it's Bard. Yeah, it's Bard. The Google AI is called
Yep.
Bard.
Yeah.
And but yeah, I mean, it's just it's bad, y'all.
Have you-
It really is bad. I really think it's bad.
Have you ever seen
I
a
use
picture?
it all the time, but it's
have you ever
bad.
seen a
Absolutely.
picture of a quantum computer?
No.
Check this out. That's a computer. That's what we're feeding all this data.
Dude, that's exactly like Eagle Eye.
That's a legitimate
That
thing.
looks like Eagle Eye, the movie with Shia LaBeouf about when it started like trying
This
to
is
take over
the
world.
most advanced computer system out there.
Looks like a jellyfish kind of.
Yeah,
does.
isn't that wild?
It's a little scary looking.
Oh yeah.
I picture it like beginning to talk from those wires. It's like, and it's like talking weird,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden it figures out English, and then it like starts speaking
will.
English.
Grows ahead.
Yeah.
It's only a matter of time.
Create its own. I mean, yeah, that's what the movies. I think there's a movie about that where the AI takes over a factory and like creates some sort of body for itself, and it literally puts its mind inside of a artificial body. And
sounds right.
I guess we should produce a movie with AI and make a lot of money on this.
Did y'all see the pizza commercial?
Using AI.
Did you see the pizza commercial?
Oh, dude, that's
The
wild.
AI pizza commercial is
Show the
freaky
commercial right
looking.
here.
Yep.
Are you ready for best pizza of life? Bring friends down to Pepperoni Hug Spot. Our chefs make pizza with heart and special touch. Cheese, pepperoni, vegetable, and more secret things. Need delivery? Pizzas come fast.
I don't like that.
Knock, knock. Who's there? Pizza magic. Eat Pepperoni Hug Spot pizza. Your tummy say thank you. Your mouth say,
Your tummy say thank you.
Pepperoni Hug Spot. It's like family, but with more cheese.
There's so much I love and hate about that. Can I get a pizza without your special touch?
No secret sauce, please.
Absolutely.
Make my tummy say yum yum.
Wow. Meanwhile, the guy's like biting into the pizza. Like he's missing a jaw.
Yeah.
It's just looking
So,
weird, man. Oh,
It was like the AI generated people, the party. Dude,
Yeah,
it
it's
is-
weird.
It's wild.
Pepperoni Hug Spot. Is that what it said?
Pepperoni Hug Spot.
Pepperoni Hug Spot.
Somebody's definitely going to make that a real thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, make a shirt. Hurry up.
Man.
Get the URL.
Yep, do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Propaganda, though. AI is going to do it. It's going to do
So
it.
be on the lookout for that. Don't
Yeah,
fall
yeah.
for any articles, please.
Yep.
But you will.
Yes.
You'll fall for it.
We're falling for Babylon.
And I'm
Bee.
gonna laugh at them.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna like and laugh at each one of you.
So what would be like a trusted news source that you guys have, given how much propaganda is out there nowadays?
I
That's-
look at multiple sources from every angle
Right.
just to
Right.
see what the story could be.
Yeah.
Epoch Times a little bit, like kind of that world, but very similar to Brent. There's
I use the Hill for a lot. The Hill, kind of neutral in a way.
Yeah, I definitely find myself going, if I see an article, I go to like 2 or 3, even if I don't even care who it is. If I could read an article about it from somebody other than the first source I got it from, at least it provides a different angle on it,
Yeah.
right? But did y'all see? Obviously, everybody knows. Most people know Tucker Carlson got nixed from Fox. Did y'all see his video? Him talking. I think it was the podcast, Full Send.
I didn't see it. No.
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 It's about like a 2-minute clip, and he just basically says, "I'm ashamed that for so long I thought that news media was like legit," and like he just goes on and just starts saying what everybody already says, which is you can't trust news outlets at all, and how media
Jeez.
is a control mechanism in the world,
Yep.
and just totally just is
Going
opening
there.
up a can
Holy
of worms.
smokes.
Oh, dude! Like he basically confirms what everybody says all the time, which is you can't trust news.
Conspiracy theories are right.
Yeah, it's
all
one of the
pushing
things he talks
agendas,
about.
yeah.
Agendas, the whole 9 yards. He just says it all, and it's interesting to hear those words come from someone who just got fired or whatever happened, right? Let go, and but who is saying the things that everybody says who's basically anti-media or
Yep.
doesn't trust media. So it's very interesting. Very interesting.
So what's the over/under on how long he has to live before he
Dude.
gets Clinton?
Unalived. That's what it's called.
Unalived, yeah.
Unalived. Yeah. It's
I don't know.
he's
That
a
would be
powerful
interesting.
person. Yeah. He's a
Yeah,
powerful.
I mean, dude,
He's a
got
big
massive,
voice. Yeah.
You know what's interesting nowadays is like it used to be, oh, you got the person's off of the news and now they have no voice, and it's like you will actually have a bigger voice
Yeah.
nowadays
He's
by
getting-
not
There's
being
no
on news.
limitations
Yeah.
anymore. Yeah.
He's getting some big offers right now. Some
Yeah.
independent like podcasts and YouTube channels right now saying, "Hey, you're able to. I'll give you this channel. You can run with it. Do whatever you want right now."
So people will actually trust his voice more now because
Absolutely.
he's not attached to a
Yep.
big
Yeah.
brand. It's pretty. I mean, that's our world, right?
true. It
That
is.
is our world. So, yeah. So propaganda for the next election will be at an all-time high. All-time high.
Well, the things he's seen. I've always wondered, like those types of things. If there was no filter, no limitations on like what powerful people have seen, experienced, like
Yeah.
just let it fly. Presidents, like those kinds of
It's
things.
fun.
I think it would be disturbing in a lot of ways. Oh, this is what's really going on. Oh, this is the reality. I don't know if humanity could handle it.
Well, that is true. Like we really, as a country, we really shouldn't know what's really going on behind the scenes because ignorance is bliss to a certain extent, but also it provides a calm society.
Yeah.
It's like we need to know. We need full transparency. No, actually, you don't. You really don't want to know everything that's going on. It'd be like a small child all of a sudden realizing. Well, okay, so Elin has just realized what death is. Mm-hmm. Like she just found out. Yeah. And dude, every other day she's talking about like, I don't want to die. And are they die? And she's like, and obviously, of course, we know that there's no tomorrow that's promised, right? But I'm just like, baby, you don't have to worry about that. Yep. Because if not, she literally can't live her life. She can't operate. It's too much for her little mind to understand. And there's nothing. Also, it's nothing that we can do about it.
It's true.
Well, that's very true.
So.
Well, you imagine going into that and saying like with a young child, hey, these are all the different ways you could die. These are all the different ways that people have died in the last 3 days, and it's absolute terror that sets inside the heart of the person. And I agree. I think there's a reason that we don't, and maybe we're all being protected. In a lot of ways, that's similar with churches also, to where, I think sometimes, or just spiritually, I think sometimes what God sees, knows, he's got the vantage point of even seeing the motives, the intentions of people's hearts. Can you imagine if we had the eyes to walk around and just see, oh, this is really the reason they're doing this or thinking that? It'd be terrifying. I think we would just go into our own little closets and then we'd get all consumed with ourselves and scared to death of ourselves because
we would know our own motives.
Exactly.
And that would scare us.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, oh no. Then the voice comes out of our throat.
It's true.
I mean, look at Solomon, dude. He went from wisdom to all of it's meaningless, like, because he saw it.
Yeah.
He saw the ramifications of all these big decisions as the ruler of the like Mediterranean area. So
yeah, what's the word whenever it's whenever you get to that point and not reductionist, everything is meaningless, it's all for naught, it's nihilist.
Nihilism. It's nihilism. Yeah.
So that's what happens. I think if we had all knowledge, we would just all be nihilists, because it's like you could see all the behind the scenes, you know.
Then we'd all see, oh my goodness, we need a savior.
Yeah,
right?
that's where he ends up.
The gospel.
Oh, the gospel does satisfy the deepest needs in my life and heart.
Yeah.
Yes.
The gospel is the answer for everyone.
Yep.
Lord,
amen.
Let us all see the true intentions.
Nah, I don't want that.
No.
Don't put that even on me.
No. I do not want to see behind the curtain.
No. It's like the great philosopher Jack Nicholson said, you can't handle the truth.
It's true.
Few good men.
Few good men.
I always like it when we set people up with a great philosopher.
I like to do that.
Yeah.
And
especially when it's somebody who's definitely not. It's like, oh, that was Mike Tyson. Cool. I broke my back.
Dude, have you seen
what?
Spinal.
Have you seen the clips? I don't know who produces it, but basically they go up to random people and they're like, "Hey man, who do you think the greatest boxer is?" And they say, "Well, what do you think about Mike Tyson?" They're like, he's all right. He's kind of washed up now." And Mike Tyson's in the back room, he comes out and talks to him, meets up with them and stuff. And they're like,
Can you imagine that? You're answering that, and then suddenly you look behind you, and Mike Tyson is standing there.
Yeah, Mike Tyson could still crush my body.
I mean, dude, you saw that airport video, right? Or he's on the airplane just railing on that guy.
Oh, yeah.
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, dude. Some dude
recently.
A year ago, maybe.
Really? A year or
It's
something.
pretty recent.
Yeah. Some dude wouldn't leave him alone or something on a plane, and he's like, "Oh, okay." And he channeled Mike Tyson, and
he's like a rhinoceros, man. I mean, he will be extremely strong, just forever, like until he dies. Like he's just one of those guys, but he's built different.
When
man.
Mike was in his prime, I think he was the greatest fighter of all time. Like in that peak, dude. Ferocious. Yeah. Ferocious. He'd get in the ring and I don't think he was trying to win fights. I think he was trying to kill people.
Oh,
that's what it looked like. Even.
With technique.
Oh, it was just
not just a brawler.
My technique is I'm going to overpower you and destroy you.
Yeah.
I think we have some questions.
We got a question. Let me find it here. All right, this question is from April 5th, so just a little bit behind.
4 or 5.
We got so many questions to deal with that
you got to filter through them. You got to respond to the fans. Yeah.
It's true. All right, so this question is it's more of a statement than a question, but here we go. Yoga, its history, how it poses worship to false gods, and it's bad for our Christian faith, even Christian yoga. So this is more of a topic
So it's not
than
a question.
It's more of a talk about yoga and how it's bad for our Christian faith because it poses worship to false gods.
So the person that's asking it obviously
They come to the
already
conclusion.
has a conclusion about.
So are we supposed to agree with this?
Yeah,
Is
like,
that the goal here?
I feel like this is a setup. We're being set up right now. Hey, how about this? Why don't we rephrase the statement into a question, which would be,
What do you think about yoga? Is it bad for our Christian faith because some say that it poses worship to false gods? What do you think?
Can I participate in yoga
There
as
we
a
go.
Christian?
Those are different ways of asking the question. Yeah, so yoga it's always been a question. Yoga and other things like that, other things.
Yeah.
A lot of other things. I think, and it always goes back to the question of is something redeemable, or is something to be redeemed or rejected? So, like for Christians, should we redeem things or reject things, or what can be redeemed or rejected? So that same pattern I would apply to this right here. Can yoga be redeemed or should it be rejected for Christians? And so you have to go back and talk about the roots of it.
Yep.
I think obviously some people don't realize that yoga does have is a Hindu, practice, the roots of it. And so like most things, when things come from, Eastern religions or whatnot, most things when it comes to America, like it gets very sanitized. And so it's not like the same exact thing in many ways. It's not the same thing. It's and so it's like, okay, is the version of yoga that some people are practicing real yoga? Like, is it yoga, or is it like stretching?
Sure.
And so where's the line in that? Or just because it comes from an Eastern religion, is it completely supposed to be rejected? And then are you actually worshiping these other gods by doing the shapes or the stretches and all that kind of stuff, or are you just doing the stretches? And I think you can go research. Anybody can go research all the things having to do with the yoga. But this is what I think. I think there's different types of yoga. I think that there's real yoga, which is I'll just call it real yoga, and it's where people are literally doing the movements and they're literally meditating upon things, and they're going into it is a spiritual act. It's actually you could call it false worship,
recognizing a detached witness / consciousness untouched by the mind.
There you go. That's not how I would have said it, but yes.
Here's another way. The purposes of yoga were to cultivate discernment, awareness, self-regulation, and a higher consciousness in the individual.
Right. Yeah, so like empty yourself, all of it's all of that. It's all Eastern religion. It's all it's very spiritual. It's getting in touch with your inner self. There's all of these. And a lot of this is very trendy in our culture, so people are
re-tapping into it.
Yeah, and many times people don't know that they're even doing these things, right?
Self-care.
Yeah,
Self-care day.
So, so there's truth to a lot of it. So, like meditation, it's a biblical thing. Meditation's a biblical thing. So it's not like you reject meditation, but what are you meditating on?
Yeah. What am I reaching for when I'm when I'm abandoning or emptying myself? What am I clinging to?
Right.
What am I getting in touch with?
Yeah. And is it literally okay? So let's talk about the stretches. So when you're doing the certain stretches in yoga, are you by going in that position? By doing that position, is that worshiping that God? Because that's what the position's attached to a certain God. So is it by me putting myself in that position, whether I'm doing it out of a heart to participate in that worship or not, am I still worshiping? And I mean, to me, I'm like, okay, so if I, bend over to pick up something off the ground and I end up in some sort of position, or if I go to reach for something while I'm working on something and I end up in the warrior pose, does that mean that I'm worshiping that God in that moment because my body's in that shape? Well, of course not. So what makes it worship? It depends what I'm thinking and feeling and what's going on in my mind that makes that position either worship to that entity or whatever or not. So for me, it kind of goes down to like a deeper level of what's going on in the mind or the heart while somebody's doing something, and less about what position you're in. Let's flip it. So if you're in church and you have your hands lifted up, does that mean that you're singing? Does that mean you're worshiping God?
Great question.
Well, no, it doesn't. God says in Isaiah, He was like, "You're doing all the outward things, but your heart's not in it. It's not real. It's not true worship." So you could kind of flip that around and say, well, just because somebody's going to a yoga class, and again, it's not the real yoga. Like you can go to like these sanitized yoga classes. They got them all over the place, and it's not. It has yoga to it because it's
stretching.
Named it, yeah, and it's the movements, but it's not the spiritual stuff attached to it.
Yeah.
And so, but then you go to the real yoga classes, and it's like, people are humming and people are doing things, and it's like, think about yourself and
feeling the energy, getting in touch with it. Yeah.
And you're going to go to yoga classes. If you go, they're going to say energy a lot, and sometimes it's like, well, what they're talking about is a muscle tension.
Yep.
Feel your muscle, in your back, like retracting right now, and feel the energy there. Well, and for a Christian, I don't think a Christian can, by going to a yoga class, that is in and of itself going to open them up to a demon, like being in, becoming possessed by something. I don't know. I think a biblical example, at least a biblical example that I think of, that I believe is pretty applicable to this, is Paul. When he talks about meat offered to idols, that's a go-to illustration for a lot of things.
It's a good
but
one.
I don't know if you can pull it up and read
pull
that.
it up. All right, so it's 1 Corinthians 8, and he's talking about food offered to idols. So now concerning food offered to idols, we know that all of us possess knowledge. This knowledge puffs up, but love builds up. If anyone imagines that he knows something, he does not yet know as he ought to know. But if anyone loves God, he is known by God. Therefore, as to the eating of food offered to idols, we know that an idol has no real existence, and that there is no one but God. For although there may be so-called gods in heaven or on earth, as indeed there are many gods and many lords, yet for us there is one God, the Father, from whom are all things, and for whom we exist, and one Lord, Jesus Christ, through whom we are all things, and through whom we exist. However, not all possess this knowledge, but some, through former association with idols, eat food as really offered to an idol, and their conscience, being weak, is defiled. Food will not commend us to God. We are no worse off if we do not eat, and no better off if we do. But take care that this right of yours does not somehow become a stumbling block to the weak. For if anyone sees you who have knowledge eating at the idol's temple, will he not be encouraged if his conscience is weak to eat food offered to idols? And so by your knowledge, this weak person is destroyed, the brother for whom Christ died. Thus sinning against your brothers and wounding their conscience when it is weak, you sin against Christ. Therefore, if food makes my brother stumble, I will never eat meat, lest I make my brother stumble.
So Paul, what I see Paul do there is talk about liberty. He gives people complete liberty, basically saying these other gods they don't usurp our God.
Yeah.
So whether you eat or not, it really actually is. It's not better or worse
because it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
It's not real.
So, but if another brother sees you, and that causes them to, and they have a weak conscience, they don't have the knowledge of what it is, and they see you doing it, and so therefore it justifies them doing it, and then it leads to their destruction. Like that's on you. But there's this tension.
Yeah.
Between those two things, right?
If they came from that too, like in this instance, if they came from being the pagan in the temples that was actively sacrificing to idols, and for them it's such a shift. So with yoga, if like you were a practicing Hindu and like you did all that super depthy and spiritual, it would make sense to me that you would no longer do that, that you would turn from that, because for you it has a deeper meaning than maybe for just the average American Christian who doesn't really know. Like, I didn't know it had Hindu stuff until this conversation. But
it's also, there's different yogas. So if a person was legitimately doing like yoga, meditating, like doing it in that way, and then they went to like a stretch session that's called yoga,
right,
it's completely different. It's not the same type of class. And I think potentially some people may talk about it and they've never actually, first off, they've never been to a yoga class. And so they don't
They
see
only
the
picture
difference.
one thing.
Right. And what's also interesting, it's like, okay, I could go with you that there's different yogas, but man, I wouldn't want to do anything that would cause somebody to stumble. But you do things that somebody could say would cause somebody to stumble. So
Absolutely.
you have a drink every now and then. Well, that could cause someone to stumble. So therefore, like, you watch a certain movie. Oh, well, that could cause. Oh, there's about 1,000 things we could say. Yep. There's a person who is they struggle with gluttony, and you invite them over to the house, and you just have like a feast, and they're sitting there struggling with gluttony, and you don't know about it, and then they fall back into like a horrible diet that's literally destroying their life and their emotions because you don't know. There's 1,000 things that somebody could be dealing with, and so then that could play against you to where you're like, dude, can I do anything?
Yeah, exactly.
Because it could potentially cause somebody to stumble. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
So what I see Paul doing is like, hey, be aware of the people around you.
Yeah, sure.
Don't be stupid, but also don't give so much power to the enemy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, eating meat offered to idols. Could you imagine? I mean, that was a big deal. Could you imagine somebody bringing meat to an idol, bowing, whatever they did, right? I mean, it was a ritual that they would do, and then taking that meat and going and eating that meat, and they're like, oh my gosh, it's a horrible thing. And Paul is sitting there like, it's really not a real thing. That has no power in it.
I'll have another ribeye, please.
Yeah. So I would be that guy. I'd be like, well, yeah.
This is delicious.
And
What
other
did you
people
do?
are just like, no, we can never eat again.
Yeah.
And he's like, man, okay, I respect your conscience. You need to listen to your conscience, and I respect that. And I'm not gonna force you to eat meat or mock you because you don't eat meat. I'm not gonna mock you, but I'm not gonna mock you and shame you if you do eat the meat.
Exactly.
Yep.
It doesn't matter that much. That's what I got a commentary pulled up on that says kind of the same thing. It says God is not concerned with what we know or eat, but he is concerned with whether or not we love our fellow Christians. The concern is not that a fellow Christian might become enraged because someone indulged, but that he or she might have a vulnerable conscience and indulge himself, even though they believe it's wrong, and thus, in their own eyes, apostatize their faith.
Yeah.
So it's about how you're leading other people to act. So it's like
I've had this conversation about yoga with people I'm close to, and have had talked about the distinction between the types of classes. And but I'm going to be honest, even if you are a strong Christian, even if you are if you are a strong Christian, and even if you go to one of these extreme classes, I believe that a strong Christian who understands their faith has discernment to know in the moment when they're in the middle of it, when it crosses the line of what they should be involved in or not. For instance, if I can go to a place and eat, and there could be people in that same building who are sitting at the next table, and they could be getting plastered.
Yep.
And I'm there, and I'm not participating in that type of. I'm not where they're at, right? I'm not drunk. I'm not. We're in the same place.
Yep.
We're paying the same money to the same organization or the same restaurant or whatever. They're making bad decisions. I'm not. There's a line, right?
Yep.
I think some of that still applies, but if you believe that yoga and the process of the stretches and the way that they move through it, in and of itself, is all demonic or whatever, and that's your conviction, then obviously it's something that you shouldn't do.
Yeah.
But you also have to realize that not everybody sees it that way.
Yeah.
And to me, it is a gray area, because whenever somebody says yoga, there's about 14 different things they could mean.
Absolutely.
It's not just one.
Yeah. So for that person, I think you just said it, is if that is your particular leaning and conviction, well, you have a responsibility to follow the leading of the Lord in your life and not participate. but you also have the responsibility to know there's freedom and liberty in Christ on so many things. So,
well, they even said Christian yoga, right? So they're even going after. They're even saying that people who even play worship music or
meditate on the scripture while you're stretching.
Even all of that's wrong.
We're instructed to do that. Yes,
I mean, no. What they're saying is Christian yoga. They're saying if somebody's taking the yoga stretches and the yoga process, and just changing out the music and then changing out the meditation part for where either somebody's reading scripture or there's just a soft music playing and it's a prayerful moment.
Yeah.
That doing that is still wrong as well.
Right.
Which would even be like past what we're even saying. So we're talking about somebody that's going to maybe they're going to a gym that has yoga classes, but they're kind of the sanitized yoga. It's not like the actual spiritual type yoga. We're saying that is a gray area.
We're talking about Christian yoga.
They're saying that's not even in the conversation. We're even talking about the Christian yoga. Is that even redeemable or even good? And how that's not even good. And I would say, I mean, for me personally, again, this is just a conversation. I don't think this is like one of those doctrinal things. This is not like, we're not talking about the blood of Jesus here. I think there's liberty in that personally, and people would disagree with that. I mean, but I always have to think what else could be applied to this scenario, and what things am I doing that other people would call me out on and say, oh, that's you're misusing your liberty to do that. And I think anybody who asks a question or makes a statement or anybody else, I think there's something that people could say about that you're doing, and once you start playing that game, it starts getting really hard to. I take more the approach than saying, "Hey, nobody can do that. It's not redeemable." I take more the approach of, "Hey, here's all of the things about this. Be aware of the roots of this.
Sure.
You need to really discern the moment whenever it begins to become more of a spiritual thing rather than a physical thing.
Yeah,
you need to be very aware of that because the roots are really not good." But it might not need to all be rejected. But if at any point you feel like convicted or weird about that, you need to really be aware of that and pull back. And that's kind of more the approach I take, rather than just saying nobody should do it, it's all wrong. Because I think the other gives people the opportunity to pray about it, to let the Holy Spirit convict them about it, yay or nay, which I feel some of that is what Paul was saying too. Hey, man.
Yeah.
Right, here's both sides. Now go pray, and that's more the approach that I take in my own life. And I take, and you know what? Here's the honest truth about that. Sometimes people may cross the line.
Yeah, that's true.
That's right. You give your kids leeway and permission to do something. Eventually, they are going to cross the line. And then you have a moment where you're able to coach them and help them see the line, and now they understand.
Yeah.
Okay, that's why. That's another scenario in this where it's like some people, they might go to that spiritual yoga, and they might experience something that it's like, yeah, that's not it, man. But now they know.
It's literally you take that same thought process and apply it to every other or so many other scenarios, from holidays to habits and all those types of things. It gives us an opportunity as Christians to be led by the Spirit of God and the instruction of His Word. And also, I mean, a beautiful thing and something I do appreciate about who asked that was they're leaning into some shape or form of community through asking that question. I think there's a lot of times that God's given us the people around us to where we have questions or thoughts around certain things to open up dialogue around them, at least get educated a little bit about it, hear opinions on those types of things, and then have the responsibility to go, seek the Lord. And you know what? Sometimes it's just like, go for it. Like, it's not like a clear cut yes, no. It's just gray area. So
I think it's like, do it or don't do it, but do it or don't do it with caution.
Yeah.
Like, just be aware, be cautious. But yeah, I can't say yes or no 100% because I think there's a lot of variables. There's a lot of different people. It's not a black and white issue, but it's like in one sense I'm with you. I see the danger, but I see danger in a lot of things that I don't put on people. I
think that's a big thing. Don't put it on people. Like if you see someone that's going to yoga or something or join it, if you have a relationship, maybe have a conversation, but don't comment on their Facebook and be like, oh, do you know where yoga comes from? You're going to open a door to a demon. It's like, no, man, don't put that on them. Like, it's okay.
Well, some people would say the same thing about scary movies. They would say watching scary movies that are demonic open doors.
Well, that's in the Bible. I'm just kidding.
Oh,
well, everything could be an open door.
Yeah.
So if you start going down the demonic realm and what you're opening yourself up to, there's a whole lot when it comes to that. That I mean, back in the 80s, there was this book. It was called Pigs in a Parlor, and it's about demons. And I never read the book, but a lot of people did it. And basically, it turned everything into a demon.
Yeah.
Nice.
Like you have a cold, it's a demon. Yeah, everything's a demon. And now I will say that anything that is not of God it's not of God. So therefore, it's of the devil. It's sin, right? So sickness is not from God.
Yeah.
But if you take it as I have a cold and therefore I could be demonized or I'm being oppressed by a demon.
Yeah.
That's extreme. And it also leads to a lot of fear, and undue. And it's like, nah, man, the world is broken.
We live in a fallen world.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And this is the result. Yes, all those are a result of sin. But like you're saying, when we begin to just navigate and just look at life like that, we begin to live an extremely fearful life, which is contrary to the Word of God. For believers, that we're supposed to possess this anti-fear type of life, a faith-filled life.
So if you were to some people take what I was just saying and they apply it to, they can't take medicine because medicine, pharmaceuticals, the word pharmacon or what, I don't know what it is. I can't remember. Pharmakia. It's, it's witchcraft. And so therefore I don't take, so I know of people who they won't take medicine. And it's like, well, so one person doesn't believe yoga's wrong, or believes yoga's wrong, but that same person will take medicine that's from the pharmacy, which is that word is rooted in witchcraft. And it's like, and there's people who say, you take that medicine? I can't believe that you would take that medicine so double standard. That's my point, is like everything becomes this tit for tat, and if not, you're a hypocrite. Everybody's a hypocrite to someone else. And I have trouble playing that game.
Yeah.
Because I know what that leads to. It leads to me looking at everybody and breaking everybody's life down and eventually being pretty judgmental. Yep. And judging everything and saying, okay, you have more good. I agree with more, that you do than I disagree. So therefore I think we can run together. Or, I disagree with one thing that you do, and so therefore I feel like we're at odds with one another. And it's like, dude, that's
not loving your brother.
It's a tough way to live, man.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's where I was going with the sick thing, and then it's the demon thing, and then the word pharmacy, and trace that back and see the roots. It's why people also won't participate in certain holidays because they say, oh, the roots go back to this. What's funny is you take Easter. I mean, I've done some research recently on Easter, and it's like, I grew up hearing a certain storyline about the word Easter and the bunny and the eggs and all this kind of stuff, and it was all pagan. Yeah. But recently, I was there's a guy that I listen to a lot, and he goes back to the roots on a lot of things, and he was like, there's a lot of lies in what people have believed in our world about a lot of things. And he just drilled down in Easter, and he went through everything, and he's like, the bunny, it has nothing to do with this God. The eggs have nothing to do with fertility God. It's actually all been constructed. And he began to go to the roots of it and kind of pull back the curtain and was like, oh, so you have Christians nowadays who are like, Easter egg hunt? Oh, that's participating. Yeah. That's another thing. Okay, so yoga, don't do yoga because you're participating in a false religion. People for years have said that having an Easter egg hunt is participating in a pagan holiday and doing like pagan things. And it's like, well, we do Easter egg hunts. So people could have said the same statements about it.
It's true.
And so with all of that put in, it's like, yeah, we're going to be slow. I'm personally, I'm slow to like label things with yoga. There is a compartment of it that I have had conversations with people about, and I believe personally, you shouldn't do this right here. You need to be careful about this part. But the stretching and the sanitized kind of version of it, man, I mean, it's, you
probably benefit from doing more of that.
Yeah.
Stretching
The
ain't
old
bad.
mobility work.
Yeah. So
Good stuff.
Yeah.
We do have a lighter Q&A. We went hard into yoga. Let's kind of lighten up a little bit.
Yoga.
This question is about the green room. So it's from the Wiggins worship team. Shout out Wiggins. A general question from some of the members at the Wiggins worship team. Why is the green room not green? It is actually gray. Inquiring minds want to know.
It's a great question.
It's a really good question.
Well, here's the real reason green room exists. Green is the getting ready, like the green light we're about to go. So that's how it got its name. I just made that up. I have no idea.
that's
I was about to say, that's not what I've heard.
That's not true.
No.
But I'll agree with you.
I lied. I don't know.
Do you
Google
know?
it.
It's because that's
What's the where it
origins
came
of the
from?
green room?
I don't.
Dude,
I
pull
used
it
to.
up.
I forgot. I actually read about this one time.
I know it, but I'm gonna let Brent read it.
You know it?
I got it right here.
Dude,
But
I know it
Brent's
too.
gonna
I'm just
read
going to let Brent read it.
I got it right here, bro.
Did you know it before you got it right there?
I knew it 3 weeks ago when I Googled it after getting this question.
The green room was where understudies to major players would wait for their chance to appear on stage. They were green or immature actors. There you go. There's your answer. You're immature. It was there where the shrubbery used on stage was stored, and the plants made it a cool, comfortable place.
So that's a completely different answer than what I have, which
That's
is
awesome.
interesting.
What is your answer,
It's totally
Joel?
different. So I Googled origin of the green room. Says it comes from Stratford at a school where they put on plays. The room next to the stage where the actors got changed and where a council would meet called the agreeing room. If you had a Warwickshire accent, it would sound like agreeing room. And so it became green room.
Well, that is completely.
It's so different.
Yeah, this is from London Symphony Orchestra.
This is also from London Symphony Orchestra.
No,
I'm
I don't believe
I'm
y'all.
not lying to you even a little bit.
Controversy.
This is like the perfect example.
LSO.co.uk
Bad information.
/more/blog
Literally looking at it right here.
/831 behind the scenes. Why is a green room called a green room?
Oh, look at the from. There's different answers. That's what's going on.
Oh, this is
They're
from
providing different answers.
LBC.com.
Yeah. See, I'm looking at the LBC. I was looking at the Theater Crafts and Guardian notes.
Oh, yeah, I see it right above what I saw. Look at that.
Wow.
How many answers is there right there?
There's a lot.
Dude, this is exactly
This
what
is
happens
crazy.
with everything right here.
Green room may be tied to demon god Jasper. No, I'm just kidding.
Dude, I was about to flip.
No more green room. No more green room.
So basically, we don't know. Nobody
that's-
actually knows.
That's the real answer.
There's a lot of opinions, but no truth.
Dude, that Q&A, that was fun.
That's crazy. So answer is, first off, green, like the green room doesn't literally mean like the walls are painted green. That's the first thing.
Stop reading it so literally.
Oh, that's a good segue. How do you read the Bible? There's different forms of.
I don't read it.
I don't.
I like others to read it for
I
me.
like
I
and
the
tell
listen
me
to
what they
podcasts
think.
of people talk about reading it.
I like Andy Stanley.
Oh god.
Doesn't read it.
He does that.
I don't.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not an actual green room. It would be. It's one of these
It's the
types of
agreeing
things.
room, according to Joel.
Green room. I like the whole like I'm green.
I do
immature.
too.
Yeah, that
experience.
that
Yeah,
makes
that's
more
fun.
sense actually.
Yeah, that's fun.
I
agree.
actually thought it was that before somebody goes out, that they are nervous and so they get nauseous if they're really nervous and they turn green. So it's like this is the green room. This is where
Wow.
all of the anxiety happens.
It's also
Wow.
a great definition or origin story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least that's how I feel when I'm in the green room.
Dude, so I'd be curious, Wiggins, which one is it for you guys?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
guys get nauseous? Do you
Everybody
got a lot
can
of
make up your
shrubbery?
own.
Yeah.
You can just make up
That's
your
what
own
it is.
reason why.
Ooh.
You
So what
are
should
your
we
own
call it?
truth.
Yeah.
What should we call
What
it?
should we call it?
The preparation room for the presence of the Lord room.
The spiritual prep. What's the it was the holy
Oh yeah.
There's the most holy place.
the holy place.
Yeah.
And then the Holy of Holies.
Right.
That's where the showbread was and the altar of incense. Oh, so
Yep.
technically right.
Yeah.
Altar of incense. There it is.
So what actually happens in the green room?
Drugs.
Very true. Yeah. Not in our green room.
Is it cocaine?
He's not talking about our green room.
No, in our green room, there's
I'm
no.
talking about the church green room.
Oh, the church green room.
Is that what other locations are doing?
Only Long Beach.
We're just
That's funny.
praying. we're
Are you
smelling
meditating?
essential oils. Oh yeah.
Oh, you're smelling essential oils.
Yeah.
That sounds pretty
we are.
like a false religion of some sort, I'm
It
sure.
is. There's a little Chinese gong that we bang too.
Yeah.
Oh,
Russian nesting
Russian
dolls.
nesting
my
dolls?
Guys.
Coffee.
That's what's wrong.
A basketball hoop.
Yes.
True.
No,
else?
it's a lava lamp.
Secret handshakes.
I'm sure a lava
Secret
lamp has some sort
handshakes.
of weird origin
Oh,
story.
it does.
Yeah.
Does
Yep.
it?
I
I don't know. Yeah.
I'm sure it does.
Oh, it does.
That's Q&A this
Yeah.
week. So
Oh,
if
that
you
was
have any
fun.
other
Q&A.
questions, shoot it to the email, ncunscripted@northwood.church.
Yeah.
Northwood.
Yeah.
Northwood.
good.
And we got any news stories? Anything exciting to talk about
Brent.
on the way out? Yeah, Brent,
got-
you're the news guy.
I got one. Nude landlord does not justify lower rent. German court rules.
You gotta
Read that
explain
again. Yeah, just give
You
it to
gotta
me one more time.
explain
New, like,
A
I got
nude-
hung up on one word. So I was like, okay, focus, Micah. Okay, go on.
A German court said Wednesday that a landlord sunbathing naked in the courtyard of his building wasn't a reason for his tenants to reduce their rental payments. So basically, I could read more, but the tenants were complaining that the landlord of the building owner was sunbathing and they wanted lower rents because of it.
Here's the thing.
But-
This was funny. It's not that they're gonna leave. They're
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
you know
yeah.
what? It's actually
I
not
like the
that
spot.
bad. It's not. Yeah, it's a nice location. If I got to deal with this, at least lower my rent.
Yeah.
If
Like-
we lower the rent, we'll be okay with your nude sunbathing. But it's not.
They're
hey, I've
wheelers
got
and
small
dealers.
children. Let's leave. It's like
Yeah.
no.
I need that money for blinds. I need some thicker curtains. Need to reallocate some housing funds here. Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Dude, I
little
saw
story.
I saw another headline similar to that. Arkansas woman claims neighbors defecate in buckets and dump
I saw
feces
that
in
one.
others' yards.
I skipped that one.
And
I'm
a
glad you
comment,
did that.
a comment
Saw
from the
that.
article is a quote. So when the wind blows, it's awful. You can't sit
Oh.
outside.
Is it? Are they? It's
imagine?
like neighbor wars. Like are they mad at each
I don't-
other?
I
I
didn't
don't
read
know.
the article.
Someone's
It's literally
dumping
just the headline.
feces in her yard.
Somebody is, yep,
Does their commode work?
big
I
brain.
guess that's a
It's
question.
Arkansas.
Dude, what a move. That's
is
a
like-
power
that-
move. You're
That is
right.
a power
Oh, yeah.
move.
Dude,
There's
people
a lot
are
of-
weird. I bet they
Yeah.
do yoga.